Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part two of our Hot Girl Summer series.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about all things mental health. Last week was a little bit more physical health focused. Now we're going to talk about your mental health, which is just as important. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, where we add all fun things on there and you get to see our beautiful faces. If you are able to, we have our bonus segment available on Spotify still for a low price of $2.99 a month, where you get extra episodes every single week from us. And this is just, we're going to continue our little series, the 3-part series. Very excited for this one. And then next week, we'll wrap it up along with the season, which is crazy.
Crazy. We're going into season 9, which just feels wrong.
Yeah. We've come up a long ways, and we appreciate you guys. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here, thanks for sticking around. We appreciate you. But without further ado, let's get into it. Last week, we really focused on how to feel good this summer without dieting. If you have not listened to that episode, we highly recommend doing that after this one. But we're going to go over some mental health tips for the summer. There's a lot going on. I feel like summer can be a very overwhelming time. We tend to be a little bit more social. There's a little bit more things going on, especially nutrition-wise and body image-wise. There's a lot going on there. So we want to make sure you're taking care of your mental health.
I found some like Reddit posts of people saying like, I feel like summer is such a hard time for disordered eating recovery, body talk, diet talk. Like, of course, these things aren't exclusive to summer, but because of just the opportunities, I guess, and things that happen in summer, it can just seem like it's more in some cases.
Especially when I feel like it's like easier to like hide away and like hide your behaviors, hide your body,
Yeah.
not be out there as much. And now it's like full on display everything.
Yeah. And
Which
there's
can be very
always food
stressful.
involved, always food involved in like holidays and barbecues and that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which generally is a great thing. We love food. But if you are anxious around food for whatever reason, it can just be really hard to cope with that and navigate that.
Yeah. And we want to give you some tips to help you and whatnot. Our first tip, we'll get right into it, is to go outside, touch
Touch
some
some
grass.
grass.
I went outside this past weekend. It's so annoying how they're right when they tell you to go outside and your
I
mental health gets
know.
better. How annoying,
I hate that it's
but
true, but it
true.
is.
Even if it's like going on a walk, even if it's going somewhere to get a fun little drink or a treat, or going somewhere sitting and reading, it does wonders,
It's
guys.
amazing. Just talking about it, I get all excited. Like, oh, that just sounds glorious.
Yes. Go outside. Because like you don't have to do it with people.
Oh,
If you don't
yeah.
want to be around people, just get some fresh air. Take advantage of it. If you're in the Midwest like us, it's not always like this. We can't just, I guess we can go outside, but it might not be as enjoyable.
It's miserable, actually. It does the opposite for mental health, I feel like, for a good 6 to 8 months out of the year. So take full
Yes.
advantage. Gardening has been my way of like clearing the mind lately because I'm 90 years old, apparently, watching my birds and the bird feeder, which it is hopping, by the way. Like,
That's amazing. Have I told you
I
about my neighbors?
I don't think so.
I feel like you. I didn't know this. Bobby's much more aware of our outdoors,
Mm,
but they have a bird feeder and they attached it to their glass door, like it's like suction cupped. So
uh-huh.
now I watch birds too, and I'm like, I feel like Hannah.
Isn't it so great? Did I tell you
Yeah.
this? I think I heard somewhere that I think I told you this and the listeners too, that like when you hear like birds chirping, it is good for mental health because birds are only really there when it's a safe environment. And so if you
Yeah.
hear birds, it's probably a pretty safe situation going on.
Yes.
It just it's so
Amazing.
calming.
I know. Go
And
outside
Finn
and
loves
listen
it.
to the birds.
It's
Does
amazing.
Finn chase the birds?
He chases the birds. We had a chipmunk sighting today while we were out in the
Mm.
garden. So we had to chase that around the fence. Obviously, the chipmunk is way faster than my 60-pound dog. So it was no competition there. Haven't seen Bunny in a day or two. But the other day, you can like, we have a sliding glass door that goes out into our deck that goes out into our yard.
Uh-huh.
And the other day, Finn was eating his food, which is like by the sliding glass door in the kitchen.
Is this the same bunny?
We have like, I think two or three, and
Okay.
two of them are mating and having babies too, which I told
They're
you
in
that
love.
like Finn killed one, right? One of the babies. Yeah. So anyway, one of the parent bunnies and the chipmunk were both like on the deck, and Finn was in the house, and he was like freaking out. I was like, I'm not letting you out there. I know what you're going to do. I'm not an idiot.
It's like,
So
please.
that was intense.
He's probably like, this barrier is keeping me from
I
that.
know. He's like, Mom, I have to protect us. There are threats out in our yard. Like, don't worry, we're gonna be fine. It's a chipmunk and a bunny. I think we'll make it.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Anyway, so having a yard, having a garden has been amazing for me touching grass and Finn.
And Finn is proof of that. He goes outside
Mm,
and he's excited and
so
happy.
true.
Be like Finn.
Be
Go.
more like Finn, but also Finn is also on doggy Prozac, so he's
Oh, that helps.
a little anxious too. Yes, that definitely helps.
But if
That's
you
a
need your version,
exactly.
mm,
Nothing wrong with taking meds if you need them.
no, in combination, it does
Exactly.
wonders.
Okay, our next one definitely ties right along, and you guys saw this coming. Limit social media, limit your screen time. Like we always say, it's like one of the few detoxes we recommend. We'll talk
Mhm.
about alcohol a little bit more later too. Another great detox is alcohol. But again, you'll notice like when you get off social media, get off your phone, it really does help, as annoying as it is to hear it.
Yeah. Something I've been doing recently, and this ties into this, because you know how people like when we're on vacation, we typically are in a better headspace, we're
Imagine
enjoying
that.
life a little bit better. So recently I've been trying to replicate things that I do on vacation. Obviously, I cannot work, unfortunately. But one of the biggest things is like you like rare, I mean, I guess maybe depending on your profession you're maybe you have some screen time, but like typically screen time is in social media is so low on vacation. I'm like, you're barely looking at your phone, you're living in the moment, you're doing activities, you're like relaxing, you're just existing. I've been trying to do that, and it maybe it's a little bit more helpful because it's the summer too. So there's like more stuff to do
Things to
than being
do.
in our depression cave in the winter when it's cold and we don't want to go outside. But it's helped a lot. It's not as good as being on vacation, but it definitely helps. Social media, as much time as we spend on there, and you probably know about us from social media, we don't need that much of it.
No,
I don't think we need as much as we are consuming right now.
I try to like not really use it for pleasure. Like it's mostly just work, getting stuff up there, and then I'm like out. I don't need to be
Yeah,
scrolling. It just doesn't help anything.
no.
Especially now that
Mhm.
like this isn't really, I guess, relevant to listeners, but like we know our niche, we know what we want to post about. We don't really like need to see what others are doing in our field. So
The
we
only
can
thing I
just
will
like get up.
note, and maybe this is a hack because we have each other, but you know how they're always like interact with people in your niche online. I
I'm so
only
bad about
interact
that.
on your stuff.
I
Like that's
know.
it.
People always like comment like mutual like friends I have on social
They're so
media, and
nice.
I'm not good at commenting on other people's stuff. I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at it. It's not because I don't like your stuff or you as a person. I honestly
It's
just
just social
probably
media.
I'm not even seeing it probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
That's so true. I always comment on your stuff and you do the same to me, but that's literally it.
That's where my interaction in the community is, our
Yep.
own community that we've created. That's it. Very niche, the Up-Beet Dietitians.
Yep.
But our next tip, we don't have much, I don't have anything else to say. Social media
They get the
stinks.
point.
Get off of it.
Yeah.
Next thing to know is eating enough and eating consistently. How boring
Duh.
is that? But maybe you're getting wrapped up in all the things you want to do this summer. You're socializing. It's hot. Our appetite might go down a little bit with that heat. We got to make sure we're eating enough. And we got to make sure we're eating more than once a day because we don't want any blood sugar crashes. We want to be feeling good. Eating enough will help with that.
You had to see it coming. Like we always talk about this. It's like I talk about it constantly.
It's like
There's no need to
nutrition
worry.
101.
Yeah. Like you don't need to worry about electrolyte supplements at this point, most likely, or oh, I don't know, a greens powder to choose. Like, let's start with just eating enough and eating consistently. And then if we feel like there could be a need for those things, great, we'll discuss it. But we got to start there. That's like the very first thing to think about. So are
Yeah.
we eating enough and eating regularly throughout the day? And with summer, we have delicious produce, at least again here in the Midwest. Berries right now are so good. Like
Yes.
every pack of strawberries I get is A, less than $2, which is unheard of in the winter. And then also just like so juicy and sweet.
So fresh.
So
It's so
fresh.
hard not to eat it all at once.
I know. So good.
This is a time from a ripeness standpoint and a price standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a
Ooh,
little bit more
melons.
fresh. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Things that you just don't get
Watermelons,
around here in the
watermelon
winter.
season.
Yeah. Again,
Although
if
I
you
don't think they
garden,
sell watermelon around here, but I don't. I don't think we're really. I meant grow,
oh, so if they
not
don't
sell.
sell watermelon in Chicago, what is this?
Actually, there's a ban on watermelon here. This is the one thing Chicago doesn't stand for.
That'd be
Is water.
crazy. I feel like population would decrease drastically if that happened.
There would probably be an uproar,
Yeah.
some type.
Wow. You can grow it though. I'm growing it right now.
That's true. I don't know. Where do we get watermelons from in the winter?
I don't know. Beats
Okay.
me. I don't know where they're imported from.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, where do we get those?
But I guess in Chicago, though, there probably isn't tons of like garden space to be growing watermelons.
That's true. Limited space.
I'm
The
Googling it.
melons.
Watermelon USA imports. Mexico supplies 80%. That makes
They
sense.
are very warm there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras.
Okay.
That tracks.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anyway, speaking of watermelon, watermelon's very hydrating. Look at that segue there.
There
Our
we
next one,
go.
of course, we discussed this last week too, but mindful alcohol intake, staying hydrated. Alcohol does not hydrate you at all. It does the opposite of that.
No.
We harped on it last week. I don't want to harp on it again, but
We don't I feel like we don't need to go that much into it, but feeling groggy and like also feeling peer pressured into drinking alcohol, like it's so common in the summer. It's like have a beer, have a glass of wine. I don't know what the people are pressuring these days.
I feel like the like White Claws and that kind of thing are more,
Oh, yes, the seltzers,
yeah,
stuff like that. Like, oh, do you want one? You don't have to drink. You don't have to feel pressured into it. You might feel better if you're hydrating and if you're drinking, alternating with water as well. We want you feeling good and refreshed.
yeah. I said this last week. Like, I just like don't have any interest in drinking really.
One of my friends I actually was recently hanging out with, she told me that she's no longer drinking because it like really messes up her blood sugar. She's diabetic.
Mm,
And she just like doesn't want to bother with like guessing what combination of food and drink
yeah.
she has to eat to keep her blood sugars from not going crazy. And my first thought, the cheap person I am, was like, oh my gosh, we want our restaurant bills will be cheaper now. I love this. And then my second thought was like, oh, yay, now we're gonna feel okay the next day. Like, yikes.
These are the important things
We
when you near 30.
it's okay. So many people we know are thriving in their 30s. So
I'm excited to be 30.
I'm excited for us.
Me too.
Honestly, I'm not going to go into this a lot. I'm just going to note 62, you get a free national parks pass.
Oh,
I'm trying to live till 62.
really? Like no matter what, like who you are?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. My dad's
Oh.
almost there. So we're
Ooh.
like, you got to stay alive. He's
I
doing just fine.
was gonna say your dad's pretty healthy.
My dad hikes better than my sister and I. But we're like, you got to make it there for that national park
Oh my
pass.
gosh.
So
Dang,
you
I
have
did
that to
not
look
know
forward to,
that.
guys. You're questioning the purpose of life. Make it to 62, you get a national park pass for free. Those are expensive now. They're $80 a year.
Really? Jeez Louise.
It's so annoying. But that's a tangent for another day.
I listened to the Office Ladies podcast, and Jenna and Angela, the co-hosts of it, they're like going into their 50s, and they're like, we give no Fs now that we're in our 50s. Like we just like don't care about anything, which I love. I'm so excited for that
That
stage
sounds
too.
so stress relieving.
I know. To just like not care, do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
say whatever.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Good things looking ahead for us.
Yeah.
30s, 50s, and
Aging,
60s now.
exactly. Aging's a privilege.
Yes.
Okay, our
Our last
last
one.
mental health tip. Yes, we discussed this last week too, but wearing clothes you're comfortable in and tying it into mental health. We said this last week also, but if you're wearing clothes that you don't feel comfortable in, it's only going to make your body image worse, which of course is a big part of mental health. So, wearing clothes that feel good, wearing clothes that are your style, wearing clothes that are comfy, wearing clothes that are like loose and flowy in the summer can really help you not feel so blech when it comes to body image.
You'll just be if they're uncomfortable, you'll just be focusing on that more. We don't.
Yeah.
You have more important things to focus on, like watermelon and
Birds.
birds and touching grass.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I wanted to give an update on, I think this was a bonus question thing we talked about. No, it was in the main episode. I mentioned that I had an urge to go for a run.
Yes.
It's no longer there. It's gone.
It's
So
gone.
no longer wanting to run. And I
Dang.
also had never acted on it. So
I'm sad.
I'm not mad
It
about
was
it.
there for a little bit.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have
That's
the
all.
resources if needed. Okay, well, we appreciate the update.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Short lived.
A fun feeling. Maybe it was a healing, nice experience, something you strongly disliked. At one point didn't seem so awful.
That's so true. I didn't have to like act on it for it to be healing. I could just
You can
not despise the
appreciate it.
idea of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's recovery if I've ever heard it.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. Let's move on.
The other main topic we want to discuss today is just the diet talk. It's already among us with the bikini bodies. It's been going on for months now. Bathing suit, summer body ready, not eating fun things at gatherings because whatever reason, it's going to be there. We
Yeah.
do have a nice little episode that we will link in our show notes about
And
how
there's
to
role
discuss.
playing in that
I
one.
forgot we role
So if you
play.
want some role playing, go tune in.
Wild stuff going on there. I don't think either of us have a theater background. Okay, yeah.
No, absolutely not.
So you get
I
our
I think I've told the story. I tried out for choir in fourth grade and didn't make it. I sang a My Little Mermaid or a My Little Mermaid, The
My
Little
Little Mermaid.
Mermaid. My little ah!
My Little Pony.
What's the name of Ariel's show or movie? The Little Mermaid. What's the
The
name of
Little
the show?
Mermaid.
The Little
Is this
Mermaid?
show?
No, the movie. Is it The Little Mermaid?
The Little Mermaid.
That does not sound right for some reason.
She's a little mermaid guy. It's a Little Mermaid.
It does not sound right. The Little
My
Mermaid.
Little
Okay.
Mermaid.
My Little Mermaid. Oh yeah, you're right. Of course you're right. Like that's an obvious thing, of course. Anyway,
I
I
like My Little
sang
Mermaid though.
I forget if I sang Under the Sea or the one where she talks about like all of her trinkets and stuff. But
So part of your
regardless,
world, I
yes.
feel like the like big like
Yeah.
production
And that's a hard
song.
one, especially when you're
That's
a
a
10
hard
year
one.
old.
That was ambitious of you.
I know. I didn't make it.
That's okay.
So, needless to say, no choir or theater background,
I have
despite my
absolutely
efforts.
not. That's okay. You get our low level free acting and
I'm
also some helpful tips on how to manage intuitive eating around friends and family.
gonna have to do a flashback, like TikTok of this, us talking about this, and then like flashback to our
Yeah.
role playing.
But you need to tell the Little Mermaid story.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And
I'm
then we'll
still
go
sad about
directly into your acting.
it. Yeah. Like, oh, that's why you didn't make it.
It's okay. Anywho, it's gonna come up. The diet talk's gonna come up, especially as people are wearing less clothing. People, we hope won't make comments on people's bodies, but like it happens. Unfortunately, we can't control others. We can only control our reactions to it. So, what to do when the small talk starts to turn a little bit diety. So, first and foremost, you can just excuse yourself from this, like the
I
conversation. You don't need to be there like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, gotta go grab a snack. Oh, someone's calling. You don't have to tell the truth.
it's a
You
little
can,
white lie. Yeah.
yeah. Or if you want to be honest, you can be like, I'm uncomfortable.
This
And
sucks.
leave.
I'm out.
You guys are bad conversationalists. I'm
Do
leaving.
better.
But if you'd like the more gentle approach, say you have to go do something and get yourself out of that awkward situation because you don't have to be there if you don't want to. You have free will.
Crazy.
Yes.
If you're also pretty ballsy, which I am not, unfortunately, you could also just like change the subject. Be like, oh, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head because I'm not good at this. What'd you have for lunch today? Like literally anything else. You can just
Yeah.
like literally change the subject. And if they don't like that, then you can again walk away or tell them they're bad at talking about things. However abrasive you are or are not, you can decide kind of how to approach this.
I will know a good way to change the subject because people love to talk about themselves is to ask people questions about themselves.
Mm,
Because normally I'd be like, oh, bring up something you're talking about. That's not going to last as long. You got to get people talking. So if you are feeling ballsy, maybe like ask a question you know that maybe you already know the answer to, but
mm.
put
Your
that
inner
change in
RA just
there.
came out.
It did. I am good at maneuvering conversations when I don't like that. Something you could do if we're just getting more ballsy. Is
Yeah.
you can shut down the comments about changes in people's bodies. Like if you so there's a range that you can go about this
Yes.
where like you hear like, oh, have you seen so and so, she looks so good, or like, oh, have you seen so and so, she looks like she put on some weight. What you could do is be like, if you want to be gentle, you could be like, oh, I don't know if that's something I noticed, but like who cares, or like I'm sure something's going on, let's talk about the weather. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you want to be very upfront, you could be like,
That's effed up.
yeah, like how, like that's kind of rude to say that. Why would you say that? Throwing why questions really out there makes people defensive as well. So if you really want to get on their bad
Mhm.
side,
We're taught not to use why questions in
yeah.
counseling.
But if you really want to cause some tension, throw why questions
Oh,
in.
yeah.
This advice is or like cause problems, stand up to
Make
them,
situation worse than it already is.
cause a scene. Actually. But a nice little redirect or confrontation, whichever way you want to go about it.
Yeah. I think what it all boils down to is take up space. It's okay to be, this is advice to myself too. Like it's okay to be abrupt and straightforward and not beat around the bush.
No, that'll be good. A good
Yeah.
challenge, depending on how you're feeling.
Exactly. And the situation and who you're with. You could also, along with that last one, challenge their thoughts too. Like, oh, what do they say on TikTok? What do they say? It's like the best comeback ever. It's like, oh, I can't believe you said that out loud. Something like
Oh,
that.
it's
How
like
do they
what a
say it?
bizarre thing to say out loud. Or like
Yes.
that's an inside thought. That's like one of my favorite ones.
I love that.
Yes. Say something like that. Basically make that. We're in attack mode right now.
We are.
Make them question why they thought it was okay to say that out loud.
Yeah.
And there can be
But
different ways about that, but that's
yeah,
what the end goal will be. Like, don't do
exactly. The
that.
whole idea is just having them sort of assess like where that thought came from and why they're saying those things,
Mm-hmm.
why they feel okay saying those things about others.
Yeah.
So just challenging them in that way. But again, challenge is more of a it's a spectrum of how much you want to
Yes.
actually like challenge versus just questioning.
Yeah. We're giving you options.
That's what we're here for.
And then the last thing you can do, there's a lot of things you could probably do, but you can minimize your reaction to these diety talks. And I find that this goes a really long ways because
Oh
once
yeah.
again, people feed off of one contributing to the conversation and also reactions. And if you're like so neutral, ignore all your desires to show you are actively listening and nodding as Hannah's doing, or like smiling, or just like anything like that. Like a blank face or reaction goes such a long way. So you literally don't have to say anything.
Or you have them repeat it. That's a good
Yes.
one too.
Yes.
Make them think about what they just said. But I think yours is better. It's like if you just like sit there and stare.
Like make them sit with what they just said.
Exactly.
Don't give them anything to go off of. It goes a very long ways.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I
look
feel
at
like we're
us.
scheming.
I
Like,
know.
yes, we're gonna create so much conflict this summer while you're relaxing. Oh, don't
Right. We're
worry.
trying to improve mental health. Sometimes that does mean that we have to get combative in some ways.
Yes, for your sake, because otherwise we don't want to keep feeding into the diet culture. We gotta
Exactly.
fight it a little bit in whatever way possible you'd like.
Yeah. And that's really all for today.
I feel like I feel like so much of this is things we've just been talking about this whole
Yeah, you guys
time.
know all this. We just kind of put it all in one little hot girl summer series.
Yeah. So like make sure you listen to the first episode. Make sure you tune in for next week. Next week's is so
Juicy.
juicy. And then make sure you also listen to our intuitive eating with skeptical friends and family members episode, and you can watch our acting.
Oh yeah, there's also the video version of it too. If you want to see us in full theater mode on YouTube.
This is actually our resume for
Yeah.
acting.
We're gonna submit this for like Broadway shows.
Yep. But hopefully you took away something. You had to
We were spitting facts
something.
today. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you didn't take away anything from from a nutrition side, you learn that birds are cool.
Touching grass is good.
Eating grass is good. Going outside helps, annoyingly enough.
Yeah. All the things that you know are probably good for you, actually. They actually are.
It's annoying. And it's the simple things typically that help.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the thing to note, because like they'll say all these things are good for you, but it's the like really simple ones that are like,
Literally going outside and eating enough and drinking water.
that will get you far.
It will get you far. It won't fix everything. Sometimes you still need other supplements or meds or whatever else, counseling, but that can get
Mhm.
you a long way.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well,
Wow.
go tune into the bonus question. We are going to further our abrasiveness today and talk about our toxic traits.
Yes.
I'm very
I'm excited
excited.
for this. It'll be so fun. But thanks for listening, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. If you're not already, what are you doing? And we will see you next week. Otherwise, I'm about to say stay hot, girlies.
Cool down, gals.
All right. That's enough.
Bye.
Bye.